Welcome to News Stripped Down, where I dig through the news and weed out all the nonsense so you guys don't have to. 30 minutes or less. Why? Because anything longer than that is probably just BS, anyways. Yeah, I'm normally here Monday to Friday, you guys. Sorry, I haven't been feeling good. Like, can't write very good. Can't think very good still. I don't know what's going on. But I'm starting to feel better now. But let's start off with some birthdays. Oh, today, William Blackstone, yeah, famous British parliamentarian, famously known for writing a lot of the laws of what we know in Britain and the US today. John Calvin, famous explorer. Nikolai Tesla's birthday today. He was born in 1856, died in 1943. Legs Diamond, famous gangster. He was assassinated as I just screwed everything up. Great. Awesome. This is why I write stuff down. And now everything's going to be different on me. This is awesome. So yeah, so much for birthdays. But it's Nikolai Tesla, Legs Diamond, and William Blackstone. Three of the more important people on there. So yeah, things today. Yeah, stuff in the news. Okay, this submarine deal here. I've been talking about this for a long time here. I've probably already said this before. This submarine deal between Huawei or Hanwha, sorry, not Huawei. Huawei's a cell phone company, but Hanwha shipbuilding company. That doesn't matter whether they tried to bring that submarine here and showcase it. I know there's a bunch of Canadian officials that had hopped on it in Hawaii and traveled with that vessel to BC to show its capabilities. But right there from the get go, I knew that that deal wasn't going to happen. Yeah, there was some Canadian companies that had signed plans. There was BC's, what is it, no, sorry. Uh, Safran, Quebec. They were going to be doing the sensors and electronics for that North Korean, or sorry, South Korean vessel, and then Aspen Kemp and Associations from Prince Edward Island would be doing power control systems. Oh, but now that they've switched over to that, they're going to buy these German submarines. There's only going to be one Canadian company right now, and that's going to be BC's C-SPAN, and they're going to be the ones responsible for, the upkeep on this new fleet. But not only that, there is still some talk of other Canadian companies jumping on the bandwagon with them going to the German submarines. What is it? The Theerskrupp Marine Systems out of Germany. And the real reason I didn't see this South Korea deal ever happening is due to the fact that Hanwha here is very developed in the United States. They have just, well, not just recently purchased some shipyards, but purchased a shipyard in Philadelphia for sure, and have a lot of American influence. Hence, you guys ever wonder why spam is so expensive? Yeah, you can thank South Korea for that and the Americans for introducing that to the Korean market. Remember when spam used to be cheap, and now there's this influx of the need and wants for spam in South Korea because of the Korean War, if you guys know. But it didn't matter what Hanwha was gonna do, trying to bring this sub back and forth. That deal was never gonna get done, and Donald Trump's gonna be actually quite a little bit more pissed off that this deal didn't get to happen because there was going to be a lot of American influence in that submarine deal as well if they would have dealt with South Korean company. And with some of the deals that we just made a major or Germany is planning on purchasing a lot of natural gas from Canada, so one hand washes the other. So it seems like there's a good plan happening that way. But I've said it before. I'm just gonna say it again. That South Korean deal, it was doomed from the get go. It was absolutely doomed. It's like the F-35 deal. Like, yeah, okay, what was it? China. While I was sick, was it not China? Was it India? India just received a bunch of F-35. I think it was India. Sorry, I can't quite remember. I didn't write down anything. Blah blah blah. But India just received a bunch of these new F-35s from the United States without radar systems. It's like, okay, and then you'll get the radar systems by 2027, so next year. Okay, so what's the point of even delivering these aircraft? Like, like you might as well just give the pilot, some nightshades to wear while they're flying the aircraft, because there's absolutely no point of them flying this aircraft if they have no radar. So that's interesting. So it just goes to show what's happening with the United States right now. They seem to be, really taking a major hit when it comes to international politics and policies. This is probably the most I've talked in 2 weeks. So, some Canadian news. Well, I guess that was some Canadian news, but yeah, that German sub deal, it was set in stone already. And yes, Canada did sign like memorandum agreements, blah blah blah, with North Korea to build this up. But remember, these weren't set in law. These aren't laws. It's just a promise. It's like a promise to appear when you go to court. It's just a promise. You don't have to, but we're still gonna, probably go after you for something. But yeah, interesting. So over to Manitoba here in Canada. So Brandon, Manitoba is receiving some flood warnings here right now. The river there is supposed to reach another 8 feet above its original height that it is at right now, or above its height that it is now. It's supposed to crest on July 13th. And it's kind of funny, like, they built, they purposely knew that this is a floodplain. And, like, if people who live in Brandon, live there for years, knew. Like, they built the shopping complex there, they built all these fancy homes down there. It's like, there's a reason they didn't build there in the first place. It was a floodplain. And to sit there and be like, oh, okay, yeah, we have this all under control, blah blah blah. It's like, you know what, you guys didn't have to worry about this in the first place if you didn't build there in the first place. But you can thank one of the previous mayors of Brandon for this, due to the fact that he owned all that swampland, all that floodplain land. And what he did while he was in office in City Hall, he set up the way he could, like, separate and divide that property and be able to sell it. So he changed guidelines so it would better suit himself. And then once he was out of office, done being mayor, what did he go and do? He went and sold this property to, a U.S. conglomerate that builds these mall complexes and little strip mall complexes for millions of dollars for a bunch of floodplain land. And then more developers just, oh, well, there's a shopping complex here. Let's start building homes around the shopping complex because that just makes sense. And then let's sell these homes and then use this shopping complex as a reference. Like, oh, look how easy it is to go get groceries now. It's just a block away. It's just a block away. It's like, oh, and there's a school right there, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah. There's a a reason for all that stuff to be, not built there in the first place. But what can you do? That's politics for you. Well, shit happens. But the river's supposed to crest at on July 13th, so another 3 days, and it's supposed to raise another 8 feet. And just north of Brandon, Manitoba, and Minnedosa, Manitoba, Lake Minnedosa is closed due to debris. Um, and yeah, there's still possible flood warnings. This is due to the Little Saskatchewan River. Brandon is the Assiniboine River that is getting a lot of water coming from Saskatchewan. A lot of rivers feed into the Assiniboine. And then we have the Little Saskatchewan that feeds down through Saskatchewan to Minnedosa, down into back into the Assiniboine there. So, yeah, Minnedosa is still preparing a little bit of flood warning here. There are government officials assessing the dam at all times right now. And it's kind of funny, finally, after three floodings here, we have officials here before something happens. Like it's so funny that just now, I remember 2 years ago, or sorry, in 2001 and 2022, and during the first flooding, it was just chaos. And then all of a sudden, once the whole town kind of came together and got everything sorted out, then the officials come in and be like, okay, what can we do here now? Well, we did everything. And then we have officials coming. This is another thing. When you're sandbagging, how to fill a sandbag. Simple technique. How do you lay a sandbag? Okay, there you go. When you're laying a sandbag during flooding, how do you lay a sandbag? We had these officials telling us to leave the mouths of the bags with the flow of water. So you want the bag open to the away. So as the water is going away, you want the opening going away with the water. Can anybody? These are government officials telling people to sandbag around their homes like this and around the rivers like this. That is not how you place a sandbag. You place a sandbag with the opening coming where the water flow will go, because then all the water pushes that sand inside. Well, I'm gonna have to take this. Well, well, it was a survey. They wanted me to know what my thoughts are on uh, age restricting social media. Hmm. What are my thoughts on it? I think it's too little too late now. Like, kids are already getting onto stuff, like, whether it's age restricted or not. It's too little too late. Like, there's a lot of people that are adults in the first place that shouldn't have social media. No, think about that. Like, are we gonna have to start policing social media? Well, they already are policing social media, but they're using algorithms to do it. But should they ban or should they age restrict social media? Yes, to a point. I don't think these kids should be going out and saying whatever the hell they want. And, there should be repercussions for things. And with the digital age we have right now, I think there's too many keyboard wannabes out there that, think that they're better than the world, and they just sit behind a computer. It's not going to stop those people. And then I don't know, kids and social media. I don't know. But another thing, their parents are involving them in social media too. Like, for instance, Atwood, what's his name, famous YouTuber Atwood. Since he started doing his YouTube, he was really bringing his kids and involving his kids into his YouTube social life. And me thinking about that, like, those kids never asked for that. They never asked for that in the first place. There should be some accountability too. Um, Even at an age, if the parents are involving, see, this is like a double-edged sword when you're saying should kids be age restricted when it comes to social media. Well, yeah, then parents will get them involved. And then, really, what age does a child have a right to say, okay, I don't want to be a part of your social media, or I want something contributed my way, like a hedge fund for something for when I turn of age. Make sure that the money goes the right way at least. But then to have the thought, maybe I don't want to do this, and then all this limelight where they didn't have a decision beforehand to, really sit down and think after a couple of years, be like, really, mom, dad, I don't want to be a part of this YouTube thing, or I don't want to be a social media star. The parent should have some type of responsibility there too. Like, I've seen another YouTuber, they brought their baby on the show the other day, just for a minute, but like, don't do that. Don't bring your kids, don't involve your kids in your social media. Don't. There's a lot of other YouTubers I know that will not talk about their kids, and that's fine. Like, I interviewed a few people, and it's like, okay, first thing, don't talk about family, don't talk about kids, don't, like, you want to talk about the dog or something, like, that's easy, like, that's fine, I'll do that. But that's fair. I totally respect stuff like that. But when it comes to social media, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I think it is the parents that are the problems, but who's to say? Like, I never had kids, so who's to say that if I did have kids, I wouldn't have thrown them under the social media bus, you know? What else is happening? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know. Apparently, there's police records out now of the attempted assassination of people for that, what was it, that UFC on the White House thing. There's information coming out about that now. Yeah, I think that's all I can do. That was hard enough just trying to think of this stuff. And to tell you the truth, I can't even remember what I just talked about. That's how I'm feeling right now. But I don't know. See what happens on Monday. Could start doing some writing. I would talk about stuff that's happened in the past year, but I don't know. That whole Turkey incident thing, that was kind of interesting. Paid a lot of attention to that. And yes, the U.S. congressional hearing committees. You guys go watch the national congressional hearings on the MK Ultra files. There's supposed to be more files released here on what happened with MK Ultra. A lot of the documents were destroyed, and some of the documents that they have now, it has been more redacted, and it's become more redacted because now that they're putting the puzzle pieces together, like, hey, this doctor worked at this hospital, or this doctor worked at this psych facility, this doctor, and looking through these MK Ultra files, now they're starting to put the puzzle pieces together, like, hey, okay, now we might have access to people who were being treated, because now we can put this doctor was at this hospital at this point in time. We can go through these records and find out who was there, who was being treated by that doctor, which would be really actually phenomenal, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of MK Ultra stuff happened in Brandon, Manitoba at the uh, psychiatric facility, I guess you could call it. They called it the mental, the psychiatric facility. But that was a massive facility. A lot of people got put there just because they were just unwanted in the first place. You know, women getting pregnant without being wed, you'd get thrown in there because your family would be ashamed of you and they wouldn't want to deal with you and your baby. So what they'd do is they'd throw you in this insane asylum and then take your baby away from you and put it up for adoption or give it to another family member, depending. But yeah, it's pretty messed up stuff that happened there. And just the like think about that. It wasn't just drugs and stuff they did to people. They did like psychological warfare on these people. Like imagine like okay, now you got a sane person who their family just disowned them, threw them in here, and they got a baby. Okay, here, let's see how messed up we can make this chick. Let's take her baby away from her and let's convince her she's crazy. And, first of all, taking a baby away from a woman in the first place is probably enough cause to make a woman go crazy. But then to have them in a facility like that, yeah, I could just see like how everything just flows together. The mental facility is now the Cinnabon Community College. I believe they have their culinary and some other classes up there. But it's good to see that they turned that building into something. But yeah, go check out the hearings. I'll probably put a link in my posts. And then my posts. Is anybody even looking at my posts? Like, no thumbs up or anything? Like, is anybody ever see my posts? Because I'm just wondering. Because I'm not getting any reactions at all, which would be nice. Like, I don't just post nonsense. Only stuff that's happening. Yeah, and then that Air Canada flight that veered off the runway here after landing in Montreal airport. I don't know. This whole, like, aviation thing is getting out of control here. Like, just more problems with aircraft, more problems with pilots. Like, what is going on here? Like, some of these pilots just are they getting their driver's license like from the same guys that these East Indians are getting their driver's license from? Like, what else? Oh yeah, and all these car crashes. Blah blah blah. If it doesn't bleed, it doesn't bleed. Oh, that was 2 years ago. Yeah, there was another big drug kingpin apparently arrested. Was it on this feed? Let me take a look. See if it's still there. Probably not though. That's what I don't like about this phone. Ryan Weddings linked to jeweler who bought 13 million Mercedes a step closer to extradition. Okay, not that guy. Yeah, and then Smith and Ford are sitting down on this agreement right now. This is hilarious. I don't know, I'm feeling better, I guess. I've been sick for like a week. I'm still not feeling good. Feeling better though. Yeah, and then Smith and Ford, this agreement here. Oh, it's so funny. Doug Ford was just recently criticizing Danielle Smith like a month and a half ago, and then all of a sudden now they're best friends. What the hell is going on? Yeah, we got this agreement for this pipeline now. Now we're besties. Yeah, okay. Anybody want to go? I should go back and find some Doug Ford sound bites about Danielle Smith. Uh, and then imagine what he says about her behind closed doors. That's another thing. Like, thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Doug. And then Doug, what's happening with that plane, bud? I'm still waiting to hear, Doug. What's happening with your plane? Did you sell it yet? Did the company buy it back? What's happening here, Doug? We're still waiting for that. It's like, oh, I better start doing more stuff and try and bury that so people forget about it. Why didn't you just tell people in the first place you're buying a jet instead of buying the jet before people finding out? You know, that just makes you look like an asshole in the first place. Like, and then having that then the teachers thing where he's going to give the teachers $700 a year and then let them spend that on school supplies. Okay, so yeah, it has to be spent at school supply stores like Staples and stuff. I don't know who's to stop the teachers from just going buying ink cartridges and selling them on the black market. It's like, oh wow, this teacher sure goes through a lot of ink cartridges. Yeah, I run an arts program. It's like, yeah, right, yeah. And then he's going to build a warehouse in Ontario specifically filled with school supplies and art supplies for the teachers in Ontario to go to or order from. So anytime they need anything, they can get that. And then meanwhile in Manitoba, you got Wob Canoe. He got rid of the extra tax on junk food. So now you go to a grocery store, but a big, it has to be over 1,900 square feet to qualify this no tax. So all the big stores, you know, everyone's gonna go to the big stores to go buy junk food. Like you don't pay tax on your pop and stuff now. Yeah, figure that out, eh? Junk food. So we're not gonna pay tax on the junk food. Ready-made meals. Okay, so now you're gonna lose all this money on that tax, and that tax was really going to the healthcare because now we're going to have a rise in diabetes. We're going to have a rise in like heart disease, other problems, and like hello. And then in a province of Manitoba, yeah, of all the people, sorry, Wob Canoe, I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit here, man, but even him as a native person, he should realize like what their diet is, and it's mostly chips and pop. It's all the junk food, the KFC and ready-made meals and Lunchables and stuff like that. Now, okay, and then think you have a say like in Winnipeg, for instance, you have these like low impoverished housing areas, right? And then you have these little grocers, you know, that kind of supply these like low income areas. These little grocers now don't qualify for this tax exempt area. So now you're hurting these impoverished areas even more because they don't qualify to get this tax exempt. So if you go want to don't want to pay tax on your pop and stuff, you have to go to the big box store now. So this is just going to hurt these little stores. What's going to influence people to go to the little stores now when they're going to save that little bit extra, and I mean little bit extra, to go get your favorite junk food? Yeah, yeah, and that money could be, you know, totally utilized somewhere best, you know, especially in the healthcare system. Yeah, it is the total plan. They've been doing this for a while, and a lot of small businesses are freaking out about this. And they've been doing this since COVID, trying to get rid of these small businesses. And trust me, COVID's still here. Everyone says it's a joke. I'm pretty sure I had COVID. I should have taken a test. If I didn't have COVID, there's a something big coming. There's going to be a lot of people sick this December. I'm still not feeling good. From here up, I don't know what it is. My ears, my nose, my eyes, the top of my mouth. Uh, and it's hard to swallow because the top of my mouth hurts so much. It's fucking weird, and I can't think. Like, it's so hard for me to think. Like, it's so crazy. I can't even write. The other day, I still like, okay, today I'll start writing. Started writing, and I'm like, what are you writing? Like, you're not writing what you're writing. Like, what's you're coming out of your head here. That's why I haven't done a live in a while. Like, am I coming up out coherent? And even certain words I can't say right now. I don't know if it's because my mouth hurts so much, or the top of my head hurts so much. I don't know, maybe I got a brain parasite or something. Finally, I'll just. Uh, yeah, so sorry, Wob. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus. He was doing some pretty good stuff. He was doing some pretty good stuff. I really like how he placated the natives, though, about that finding those natives that were buried in the dump there. And the funny part is, I'm surprised they didn't dig up any Hells Angels when they were looking for those natives in the dump in Winnipeg. You know how many Hells Angels and, well, other bikers are buried in that same dump? Like, you start digging for these women and be like, oh, that's not a woman. That's guy parts. That's guy's clothing. Oh, just fill that hole back in. Fill that hole back in. We're looking for women, not men. That's probably what they did do, and they found the guys, those dead bikers, and they're like, "Okay, we'll just say that the DNA matched, and then let's leave it there. Let's not dig anymore." Uh, Ask anyone in Winnipeg. Yeah, there's definitely some bikers buried in there. But Tracy, you're over in BC, eh? BC. I got a buddy who lives in Kelowna, BC. He was in aviation. He rewires aircraft. I met him in Quebec. He was like the only English speaking friend I had when I was in Quebec because he was working there under contract, rewiring aircraft. Holy crap. Okay, a clump of wires like this, like headphone wires, okay? A clump of wires this big, little wires, clump this big. Guess how many colors? I'll save you the answer. There's one. They're all white. Like, you have to be a special type of person to rewire an aircraft when all the wires are the same effing color. Holy crap, I'd just lose my mind. But he's a different character. Definitely. I'd definitely say he's a savant. He'd have to be to do that job. Yeah. Yeah, and don't call him Sparky. Ugh. He was doing helicopters there for a bit too. I don't know what he's doing now. I think he's just fucking chilling, I think. And then in BC, you guys got flooding. I should have talked about that too. Sorry, Manitoba's flooding pretty bad, but it's their own fault. It is. It's all their own fault. They knew what they were getting into when they built down there. It's freaking floodplain. It was the previous mayor who sold all that land to a big industrialist and from the States. Obviously, they don't know what the weather or the floodplains are like up here in the Great White North. And yeah, made millions to build that shopping complex and all those very expensive homes. And now they're like, oh, why does it flood here? This is climate change. This is climate change. The fucking settlers, when they came here, they knew that fucking area flooded. That's why they built on the hills. You go to Brandon, okay, and then there's this like low line, and then you go to the other side, and then there's Brandon. You drive past Brandon, Manitoba on the number 10, and you just be like, oh wow, that's it? That's it? No, you have to go like inland. Like, so crazy. That's Brandon. And then shout out to Brad from Discover Connections. Thanks for not stopping in Manitoba, prick. Well, I'm gonna stop in Avery Province. Just totally skipped Manitoba. Dude, it says friendly Manitoba on the license plates. And then shout out to Josh at Breakfast Cereal too. He's doing some great work over at that channel. Finally, good to see him getting some respect he deserves. All that hard work he puts into his videos. But that's what he does for a living. Like this, his YouTube thing is just a side job. He's a cinematographer, he's a director, does a lot of stuff. I wish he would talk more about the work that he does, but he doesn't. Ugh. But anyways, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go have a cigarette, and then I think I'm gonna make some French toast. And yeah, I'll try not to burn the house down. I'll do the dishes while I make French toast, so I don't leave the kitchen. So if I leave somewhere, I'm not gonna remember where the hell I was or what I was doing. I did wash the floors today, so I don't know, maybe that'll help. Get some bleach in my system, sterilize everything. Yeah, yeah. So you guys watch out. There's something big coming, and it's gonna affect this part of your body. Uh, like, I wish you could understand what it's like to swallow. You know, when the back of your tongue, it's as you swallow, the back of your tongue hits the top of your mouth. Well, my tongue doesn't want to touch it. Hurts that bad, so you're always swallowing air. So yeah, it's fucking weird. But yeah, and then the fogginess. Yeah, that's another thing. I'll stand up to walk away. Did you walk to the fridge to grab a drink or something? Get to the fridge. Can't remember why I came here. It's like, well, I'll go sit back down and be like, you're thirsty. Oh, yeah, I went for a drink. And then you do that whole routine all over again. It's like you're on mushrooms. That's almost what it's like. It's really weird. And it's not a box on your head. It doesn't feel like a box. It's just contained, like all right here. Oh, you should have seen my face last week. Ooh, it was just red. And then I'm not blowing anything out my nose. Nothing. I even did a neti pot. That was kind of gross. Not really much came out. But anyways, I'm gonna go have a smoke. Thanks for chilling out. I'll try and make this regular again. See how I feel on this weekend. I'm just gonna relax. But I'll be back to my regular show Monday to Friday, 4 to 4:30 p.m. Central Time. Not 2:30 like today. It'll be back to 4. And then my half-hour show, and that's it. Ran a little long today because I haven't been on here in a while. Got to get back in. I couldn't even remember. I couldn't find my background. I had to pretty much remember how to. What did I have to remember what to do? Oh, how to set up my live. I had to took me like 20 minutes. I was like, what are you doing here? Oh man. But yeah, but take her easy, Tracy. And then yeah. Monday, 4 to 4:30 p.m. Central Time. And I gotta snap out of this. I gotta snap out of this. And Monday will be the day. And if not, I'll just tough through it. And I'll have written content this time, like I normally do. I hate not writing shit down because it's hard enough remembering everything that I want to talk about. Okay, everyone, peace out and have a great weekend, you guys. And then wash your hands. Please, everyone, everywhere you go, please wash your hands. The biggest germ thing ever. I'm not a germaphobe or anything, but I wash my hands constantly. Constantly. Like people think I'm OCD that way. No, like as soon as my hands feel like greasy or something, I wash them. Unless I'm on a construction site. Never. Oh. Okay, I'm out of here. He really just. Yeah, okay, I'm a bit of a germaphobe. Have a good weekend, everyone.